Okay. Okay, guys. So in the previous session, we had tried to understood what is class, what is object, and how do we create a class, and how do we create object for that class, and how to use that we have seen. Let's continue from that example itself so that you can understand what are the other concepts requirements. So here today we are going to understand why do we need to parameterize our methods and why we should write like that. We understand now. So what is our example? Car is there, and what is the other example we have written? Did we write a main class in the previous session? Car showroom we have written, right? Yeah, very good. Car showroom we have written. So where is car showroom? With these classes.
Showroom trial
Car
right?
showroom. Ah, yeah. Okay, it is. We have written as a file, so we need to save this as Java, right? Right with this one. So let us save it as Java file. Save as .java 2021. Yeah. Now, here what is happening and here what is happening. Very important points, guys. You need to remember. Here we are just creating a reference variable of car type. So that means what? Now the car class we are using as a data type similar to any other data types that we have. Int, char, float, double to create the variables. How we are using those data types. Similarly, this car also we are using. Is it clear, guys? So car can be used or a class after defining a class can be used as a user defined data type, used as an user defined data type. That point we need to remember. And when we are creating, declaring a variable of type class or our custom user defined class, it will be only reference variable. The default value in this reference variable would be what, guys? What will be the default value that is stored in reference variable?
New car.
Hmm? In reference variable, what is the default value? Always it is null. Now car1 has null as the default value, means for any class, that may be car or aeroplane or employee or person or book, whatever it may be. If you create like this a reference variable, then what does it store? It stores only the reference. As of now, it stores only the null as the default value. And after that, here what we are doing, new car we are writing, right? Until unless we say new car or new book, new employee, new employee, then only a real object will be created. An object will be created. Until unless we say new car or book or employee, it does not be an object. It will not be an object. Okay, clear, guys? So then once we write like this, once we write like this, then a newly created object, here what is happening? with this statement, a new object is getting created. That means we'll be creating so whenever we say new car, then only a new object will be created, and new object will be created, and that newly created object reference will be stored here into this car1. A reference is nothing but you can think of the memory location address internally stored into this variable, but we that address, physical memory address, will not be exposed to us, as Java is more secure language. Java doesn't expose the physical memory location addresses. Rather, it will be wrap it or hide it behind some hash code, and it will give that hash code as the address of that particular memory location, object memory location, and that address of that object memory location only we are calling here as a reference, and that reference is being stored under this reference variable car1. That means what, right now what is there in this statement, line number 7, what will be there in car1? Null will be there. That null is getting replaced by newly created object reference here on line number 8. Is it clear, guys, what is happening there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now let us compile this program and run this program, and what will happen we see. So using one car class, how many objects we can create, how many cars we can create? We can create as many as we needed. That's why we can say car is a template to create car objects in our systems. Okay, so class can be used as a template. A class can be used as a data type. Are these points clear? Now, need to set the path, right? Set path equals to till where we need to set the path? See,
Bin folder.
program files Java JDK bin. Program files Java JDK bin. So inside JDK we have bin. Until that we have to set the path. Now Java C car showroom. Where it has been saved. It is there, no? Showroom.java.
Java.
Class exam.
Yeah, Raghu. Tell me. Class example?
Class example, sir.
క్లాస్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇక్కడ కార్ క్లాస్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా లాస్ట్
అవునా.
సెషన్ లో. సో ద సేమ్ కార్ క్లాస్ మనం అదర్ క్లాసెస్ లో ఎలా యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం. అనదర్ క్లాస్ కార్ షోరూమ్ అనే క్లాస్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్నాం. ఇందులో మెయిన్ మెథడ్ రాస్తున్నాం. మెయిన్ మెథడ్ కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా రాయొచ్చు, బట్ దట్స్ నాట్ కరెక్ట్ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ అనమాట. ఒక క్లాస్ ఎక్కడ రాస్తామో అందులోనే మెయిన్ ఉండదు. సో మనం వేరే క్లాస్ లో రాసుకుంటాం. ఈవెన్ రియల్ టైమ్ లో కూడా కార్లు ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయి, కార్లు ఉండవు కదా. కార్లు కార్ షోరూమ్ లో ఉంటాయి కదా. సో కాబట్టి మనం కార్ షోరూమ్ అనే ఒక క్లాస్ తీసుకొని దాని రిలేటెడ్ రాస్తున్నాం. ఇది యూ కెన్ ఇగ్నోర్ ఇట్, ఇది జస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాను. సో లైక్ డేటా టైప్స్ కి వేరియబుల్స్ ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేస్తామో సిమిలర్ గా మన క్లాస్ కూడా వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. అండ్ డేటా వేరియబుల్ ని ఎలా ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేస్తామో సమ్ వాల్యూతో మన క్లాస్ వేరియబుల్ ని కూడా ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేయొచ్చు. సో ఇన్ బేసిక్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో చూస్తే ఇట్స్ నథింగ్ బట్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఏ వేరియబుల్ అండ్ ఇనిషియలైజింగ్ ద వేరియబుల్. కానీ మనం ఊప్స్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ లో ఏం చెప్పాలి ఇక్కడ, వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు సే, డిక్లేరింగ్ ఏ రెఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ ఫర్ ద ఆబ్జెక్ట్ car1 and initializing the object car1. So car1 here is what reference variable. By default it is having null value. Now in this line number 8 car is getting initializing. So initializing object of type car. Storing the newly created object reference into reference variable. We should call this as variable car1. Okay, we should call this as reference variable all the times. Okay, now let us, we have compiled it, right? It is giving some errors. What are the errors it is giving? Car here it okay. What is the error on Java? Sorry, car showroom Java :7 means line number 7, error cannot find symbol. Which symbol? Car symbol. Why it's not finding the symbol car? Car is there, right? We have to make sure that both are presented in the same folder. Where it is on JB 8.20.21 for Java, it is there, but here it is. So JB, the same folder that are presented, right? Okay, I think the car might not have been compiled. So car.java. So here car is not stored as a Java file. See, that's why everything is in black. We have to save this as Java file. Did you get the point, guys? What is the problem here? Car has not been saved as a Java file. That was the basic point we learnt, right? Again, I only missed that point. So we are facing issue car.java, right? Now car has been created as Java file. Now we can compile automatically. When we are compiling the car showroom, automatically it will compile all dependent classes also. And dependency classes are what? In car showroom, what is the dependency? Car, we are using car, right? So this car showroom is depending on car class. So all these dependencies also will be compiled before compiling this car showroom. So if I say compile car showroom, automatically it will compile everything. So what it is saying, the car class price equal to 7 lakhs we are trying to store. It is saying possible lossy conversion from double to float. That means what? By default, whenever we are giving a decimal point values, by default, what are that data types double? But we are trying to store in price. Price data type is what? Float, right? So in this case, what should we do? What is the solution for resolving this error? You know this, guys. Tell me.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
write the data to the
Ah.
websites.
Very good. We need to make it as double. What is the another solution? That's exactly correct solution. The other solution?
Price
Hmm.
change, not the decimal points in the price.
So here we can do typecasting. Need to remember, guys. By default, it is taken as double constant, right? Double is the larger data type than float. So we have to do typecasting, right? It is saying, right, clearly. Lossy conversion from double to float conversion. So if we read, we can get, but of course, this is not the correct solution. Writing like this is not correct solution. Only in logics we can do that, but in classes, that's not the correct solution. We have to declare appropriate data types for the member variables. This is correct solution. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Why it is not a correct solution? Typecasting is not correct solution. If we do correct typecasting, then what happens? With every object data storage, for every car information storing, we have to do typecasting every time, right? So that's not recommended, right? Every time doing extra job. So take the double. Got the point? Why it's not recommended? Brush, brush. Had a paper. Okay. So now, let us run this program. How to run the program? Java car showroom. Right. So here again it is saying no class definition found error car. Why again it is saying? Okay, car we need to compile, right? We have not compiled car class still. So class file is not there. Source code doesn't require for running the program. While program is running, what is required for JVM? Class file, right? That's why it is looking for class file, and it is saying that class is not found. Now it works. See, Java car showroom worked fine without any other, right? Why it is not displaying any message? Because we just created the objects, that's it. We have not done any output statements, that's why it is not displaying anything. Now uh, we need to set the values for cars, right? So how to set values? To set the value for car, what do we have? What we have, guys, here? Yeah, Shishir. To set car details, what we have? If we store some value, then only we can see that values as outputs, right? So what we have here? We have methods, right? We have to call these methods. If we want to call any member methods of a class, that we can call using this object, whatever we are creating here. Object has been created, right? So using this object, we can write. So what we can do now here, car1 dot set car details. Set car details, right? In the same way, car1 dot, what is the other activity we need to do? We need to show the car details, right? So show car details. Show car details, like this. Now check here how it goes. Car showroom, compile it, got the values, right? So in this way, we can create an object and we can use that object for storing the data, displaying the data. Is it clear, guys? Hmm. In the similar way, what we can do here, here let us say system.out.println car1 details. I am printing here, and after printing car1 details, let us write some line. Println ఈరోజు ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నాయి. Now let us print car2 details. To print car2 details, what we should do? To print car2 details, what we should do, guys? Same thing, right? But instead of car2 dot show car details. Right now, if I compile and run, what happens? You observe. Shishir, Raghu, getting the point, right? So,
Yes, sir.
now observe how when we are using, what is the behavior? See, for car1 details, we have told set the details for car1. So the data that we have stored is presented where on car1 only. But here, without setting any data to the car2, we are trying to display car2 details. Now, what are being displayed here? If you see, here it is displaying default values like 0.00, null, String types are reference types. Reference types always contain what? Null as the default value, right? Color null, seat, number of int, default value is 0. Double default value is 0.0. Float also 0.0, right? So that will be displayed here. In this way, it will do. So if we want to store data, that's if we want to if we want to store any values in one object, that values are secured by within that object boundaries, and the same values, even though objects are of type same class, will not read the property values of other objects. That's why we can say these are secure objects. Whatever data that we are storing in the object is secure for only that particular object, and that will not be given to any other. That will not be given permitted to access by any other object directly. Right? So in this way, we can understand how objects are creating boundaries among their data, and how they are having their own data. Now, if I want to set the values for car2 details, here I want to display the car2 details information also, then what should I do? What should we do, guys? What we need to do? If I
system.
For car2 also, we need to set the data. It's very simple. Don't think too much. It is simple only. Whatever there we are seeing, that only I am asking. Just if I want to display the data, first of all, we need to store the data. Storing is nothing but setting the data, right? So for car2 object, set the data. Set car details. That's it. Clear? If we set, then only we get the values. If we don't set, how can we show? JVM shows default values only. It doesn't show any valid values. Okay. Okay, guys, got the point?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, if I run, what happens? You see. So here, JavaScript car showroom, because I'm modifying the car showroom class code. That's why I'm compiling it again and again, and I'm running. See, now both car details I have got, right? Is it clear? How we can store the values into object, and how we can use the class member variables and member methods using class objects. Without class object, we cannot use the class members. If we wanted to access any class members, class member variable or class member method, anything, what is required? It is required to have an object for that class. Without class object, we cannot use any class member. So here, what are the class members that we have in the car class? Like a price, engine CC, fuel type, gear system, seats, color, and set car details, show car details, right? So if I want to use any of these member variables and member methods in car showroom, what should I have? I should have a car object created. If car object is not has been created, then we cannot use the car members. Right? What that means, if I directly try to use show car details or set car details directly, if I say like this, I cannot use it. Hmm? It says what? I don't know what is car details, set car details. I don't know what is show car details. We have to say set car details for car 3 object. Set car details for object referenced by car 2. Set car details for object referenced by car 1. No, without saying that, set details to whom it should set the details, whose data it has set. Hmm? How does it know? Right. So it will give you error. So let's compile. It will say, I don't know what is set car details or show car details. Sim. Error cannot find symbol set car details. Error cannot find symbol show car details. Right. So how should we set? We need to say, let us say it is for car 3. I have to say car 3 dot here, car 3 dot like this. Now it will set the values and it will work. See, for all the cars, it has set the values, right? So in this way, we can set it. But is it clear, guys, how we are creating the objects and how we are using the class members through objects and how the data of one object is secured by the only that particular object or within the boundaries of that object, how it is not exposing to outside world. Data is not exposed to outside world without object, or always the data is constrained or limited within that boundary of object only. Clear, guys? Is it clear?
So if we have 10 cards, so we need to keep set card details for all 10 cards. Like this.
Yes, of course. That is that job. Here, what you may think, if I have in a car showroom, if I have 100 cars, let us say, or okay, it is a very big showroom, 1,000 cars. It's obvious that we have to. Why?
Oh,
Because whenever we are selling a car, we should have the particular car information. Tomorrow in future, if the car got some issue, within a warranty period, if the car has got some issue, the owner has come and say that my car got has this issue, it's under service warranty, do the service. Then how do we assure that whether this car has been sold by our showroom only? He might have taken the car from other showroom, right? But if he come to our showroom and he'll ask to fix that issue, we should not responsible for others business, right? So how can we identify that car is sold by us if we maintain all this information? Of course, here we are maintaining generic information, but in a showroom, what will be there? Every car will be having some barcode, and there will be some ID, right? For every car number will be there, right? TR number they will give, right? They will be saving that information, and on which date they have sold, and what is the price is there, and car number they'll be saving in their database. So when car will come, they will check the documents, the bill, at the time of car purchase, whatever documents they have given, they will check and they will ensure that okay, this car is sold by us. Then they'll take the responsibility. Otherwise they should not take, right? So every information, every object information we have to do manually like this. We have to set the information for an object, then only we can deal with the business properly. And we can get the information. Even just now also we have seen one example, what without setting the values, without calling this set car details, if I try to print, what do I get here? I'm getting default values, right? In the car 2 and car 3, what do I get? Default values like zeros, nulls, right? Numeric values, zeros, reference types, it is null default value. String is a reference data type. So I do get null here. So in this way it will go. For every object we have to set. That's why we are saying every object has its own state and behavior. In a oops concept where the class see every object has its own state and behavior. So we have to give state is nothing but data, behavior is nothing but methods, the operations. Okay, is it clear? This point you can see practically here. Whatever data we are storing in one that particular objects, well, that data only will come here. That is the state. Clear, guys? Whatever theoretically I have given the points, everything you can observe in our programs. You have to observe, of course. Then only you can get clear understanding of the points or the topics, and you can have a good command on the coding, object-oriented programming. Okay. So now, what I want to do here, let us uncomment this and run the code. Compile it and run it. Now here, what are you observing, guys? Tell me. Here, what you are observing? Okay, let me change my car to be bit more realistic. Every car has number, right? Car number or vehicle number. You can say simply number, number plate or number. So what is the number that would be there? We can say number equals to string type. Number, even though the name is number, car number is a numeric value or a string value, guys? It's a mix of characters and numerals, means it's a string only, right? So give the number like TS 09 X or 231514, anything. Okay, it would be like this, right? So now compile car showroom, run the program. Sorry, where we have done the changes in car.java, right? Compile car.java also, run car showroom. Okay, what is the problem? We are not printing the car number. That's why it's not showing car. We just set the value for car number, but not displaying the car number. That's the issue here. So print car number See, now it's printing car number also, right? But observe this and tell me what is wrong here. What's wrong here?
అంటే
Hmm?
సెల్ నెంబర్ ఉన్నాయి కదా.
Very good. So, in real time, do we have the same number for every car? No, right? Hmm? Same number cannot be there for every car. That is the problem, right? So price may be same. If it is the same model, same year car, price may be same, capacity might be same, type might be same, gear system or seating capacity or color may be same, but this cannot be same for each and every car, right? A number cannot be same, right? Hmm? Every car should have its own numbers, right? So now here you got the problem, right, guys? Shishir, Purnima.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So now what we need to do, if I try to write this values within the set car details like this, within the code itself, hard coded values within the car class, I am hard coding. If I write the values directly within the program itself like this, it is hard coding. This won't be the real time use case. This will not be the real time use case that always hard coding the values for class members. It should be user given values, right? It should be user given values, user input values. So how that should come? So there we have to write in such a way that the value should be taken from user and that should be assigned to our car objects. It should be done in such a way that the user input values should be taken as the values for class members. So how can we do this? So here user, who is the user here? Here user of this car class is car showroom. User, it doesn't mean that always user means it should be a person. User can be another class also, or another program also, or another software also. Make sure that, guys, it is not so. Here what we need to do, we need to write, or we need to enable a user to give the value. So this car showroom is a user who is who is using car for storing car showroom information, business information, right? So here what we should do, we need to enable this car set details method so that user can supply some values, input values from here. So here what I can write, string n for number, double p for price, string e for engine cc or ecc for engine cc, and okay, it is not string, right? It should be int engine cc and string, fuel type FT, string, gas system GS, and int seats S, string, color C for color. Like this we need to give. And then here what we can do is, instead of this, what we need to write, number. In place of number, what should come? This n, the parameter what is defined for this method, that should come here. Here, understand the purpose of parameterizing our methods. Are you getting the point, guys? Very important. How should we decide parameters for our method, or when should we parameterize our method? This n అంటే మనము కార్ నెంబర్ కోసము ఇక్కడ పారామీటర్ n అని ఇచ్చాం. ఇక్కడ ఏ నేమ్ ఇస్తే ఆ నేమ్, నమ్ అని ఇచ్చుకుంటే నమ్. దాని పర్పస్ ఏంటి? యూజర్ నుంచి కార్ నెంబరు ఇక్కడ పంపిస్తాం, ఈ వేరియబుల్ లో పంపిస్తాం. ఆ వేరియబుల్ వాల్యూ మనము యూజర్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ నుంచి ఇస్తే ఇక్కడ కార్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో దీనికి సేవ్ చేయాలి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో. ఓకే, it can be num or n, anything you can give, or completely number also you can give. Okay guys, any other doubt? Price is coming from this P, and engine CC is coming from this ECC. Next, fuel type equal to, what should I write? Come on guys, what should I write? Fuel type. What should I write? Very good. Tell me, just I'm asking very simple questions only, guys. If I am asking you during the demos, it is clear that, and you think that it is very simple question only. No need to think too much. Okay, don't think too much. Whatever is there on the screen, that only you can see and tell. When I'm giving the exercises, then I'll give some bit more logical and a bit complex things. But when I'm asking during sessions, it will be simple questions only. Don't think too much. If you think too much, you won't find it. Why? Because there is no complex or very great questions. These are simple basic things only. You can just see on the screen and you can answer it. Now what should I write?
GS.
Yeah, very good. GS, that's it. Now seats, from where should I get? Yes, very good. So color I should get from C. Very good, like this. But when I'm printing the values, if you observe, I want to print the values from these variables, right? Already here, while setting the details, I am collecting user inputs, that all inputs have been stored into this corresponding local corresponding class member variables, right? So while displaying, again, I don't require to get any information from user. Should I get any information from user to display the data? No, right? Already the data is there in the system, collected and stored in these variables. So we don't require any parameters here when we are showing the details, when we are getting the details from the system or showing the details from system to user. We don't require to have any parameters. Is it clear?
Sir.
Yeah. Here the point what I want you guys to understand is how to decide what should be the parameters for the methods, and what should when we don't require to get any parameters from the system. Okay, for methods, right? Now come to user program car showroom. Whenever we are saying car1 dot set details, here we should set the corresponding car information, car number, Next, double price is engine capacity, means fuel type, right? Price, what is the price? 700K. Engine capacity 5000 cc, fuel type petrol. Next, gear system, seats and color. Gear system automatic, seats 4 seats, color white, right? In the similar way, let's set details for car 2. So here the other car number would be 2315, right? Price might be same, capacity might be same, but type, fuel type can be diesel, and gear type can be manual, color can be gray, and car 3 you can set like the car number. Now you can make it as 6, or price could be 7,50,000, 750K, and it can be capacity engine cc 6000 cc, and petrol and automatic, and here it's a red car, right? So in this way we can have. Now let's compile the programs and run the car showroom. Now we can see each and every individual car object has its own information, right? See, 2314, 7,05,000 petrol automatic, seats 4 and white. Here car 2 is 2315, 7,05,000 diesel manual, seats 4 and color is gray, and here it is red car. So in this way we can make realistic our objects by parameterizing the methods. Is it clear, guys, how we are deciding parameterized method or non-parameterized method? Clear?
Sir.
Yeah, very good, guys. So today we pass here. Tomorrow we'll continue with further more details on this same program, and we or with any different example, and we'll proceed with what are OOPS concepts. Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Okay. Okay, guys. So tomorrow also very important class was all these classes. Don't miss the classes, guys. No, very important classes. Okay. Bye bye. Good night, Shishir. Good night, Purma. Have a nice day, Raghu. Bye.